Hey everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we are working on our first cutting of hay. That last video that you saw, the fabricating on the trailer truck bed, we were talking about spring cleanup and getting ahead of hay season. Hay season is here. We're a week after Mother's Day, and the actual time of the filming of this is on Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to everybody. I hope you had a nice Sunday. I'm having a nice day today. I'm just going around with my seeds and my buckets, and I am planting sunflower seeds and just random flowers around in my pots and my yard. The guys are working on their field, and I'm having a restful day. So this has been cut. It's been growing tremendously from all the pig manure we put out here from the barn a couple of years ago. And now Trey is starting in on tedding it. They want to really get in on that field on the other side, so that they can spread the winter's manure over there, because it has never gotten manure in the time that we've been here. So it is definitely overdue for that. But I couldn't imagine wanting to be anyplace else. The trees have leafed out. They're blossoming still, some a little earlier than others. It's looking quite beautiful around here. My project today is I am working on taking cuttings and using a rooting hormone to try to get some new growth off of some of the old vintage apple trees and boxwoods and anything else around here, to be frugal, to learn something new, and just to save money from going to the greenhouse on a day like today. Well, it's day 2 of cutting hay on the farm. The guys are hooking up to the sickle bar mower. We had a time of some hay cutting yesterday, and the south field was done. He started in on the east field with the 720. This one had the blown apart gearbox. We had a machinist make us 2 new parts for it, just in case it ever happened again. Very little use, thinnest hay on the farm. It blew out again. So not a great history on these 720s when you look into them. Apparently the gearbox failure is a problem. I don't know if there's a stronger, newer one that can be replaced with it, but we're gonna patch it up one more time. So it gets a greasing and a service every time it goes out. After his first year of breaking pitman arms, this wooden arm here, we just knew, grease it every time before it goes out. That one has been on here a long time. It's smaller, 6 or 7 feet. It never fails, and he ends up grabbing it every year after everything else that we have breaks. Reliable to have.
Almost all of it.
Let me see. George got a morel mushroom. He found that all on his own. Let's step back and see if we can find any more. We have found 4 great big mushrooms, and I happen to think today we always find them right around Mother's Day. So we came up to the woods on our afternoon, and we're looking to see what we can find. The trouble is, the leaves are almost the same color, so you really, really gotta look.
Down.
We'll keep looking. He found 2 more. Good job, George.
I found 4, you guys.
That is great. 5-year-old out harvesting and foraging in the woods. So we haven't been out here to the woods in about 2 weeks. We were picking ramps, and you can see everything is looking quite differently now. This is something I always like to get in the woods. To put these in a vase. I think they're beautiful. I'm going to take pictures of them every year.
We found some mushrooms. Here's what we found later on.
We've been found. We've been found out. Hi guys.
Hi.
That's a reason a lot for coming out and cleaning the firewood off of the lane, is we come out. They ride their bikes out here, and you don't want limbs down. And this is another spot that we found them. And one thing I'll tell you is if you have found mushrooms in a spot, keep checking that spot. And the second thing I do is when I wash the mushrooms, I wash them in a bowl of water so any mushroom spores are in that water. And then I pour the water back out where I found the mushrooms, so hopefully to propagate more. Well, we didn't find more mushrooms, but look at the size of these ramps. They are way bigger than when we were harvesting them weeks ago. So we're gonna go back to the house. We're gonna check one more spot for mushrooms. Look at how pretty this is. Isn't that nice? Good start to the year. It's a nice feeling bringing in your first bale of hay when all the neighbor farmers are just getting out to their fields with their tillage tools or their planters and fertilizers and whatnot. This is bale number one. He has been busy at work. We have had to clean out the shop to be able to get the baler out. We kind of pack things in pretty tight. We've been working on our storage units, our shelving, our wall storage, and just getting things cleaned out for the days leading up to this baling today. So it's a nice thing to be able to do that, and it's also nice to know that we don't have to stick the baler back in there right away too, so that we continue on with that storage into summertime, getting everything organized. So like I said previously in this video, we had cleaned out the barn with pig manure a couple of years ago, 2 or 3, and the amount coming out of just this little south field has been amazing. It's a lot of clay into other areas that gets low and we get flooding in there every year. So having this planted with a sod base to not have washout or not be able to get in there until, you know, late May, it's quite the advantage that we're having right now. That bale was made with only going on 3 sides of this field. It's kind of triangle shaped, but it's got 4 sides. I think the last time he did this, he got something like 6 bales off of it and was really surprised that we did that. I'd have to look back. Your fall harvest is never, you know, what your first or second might be when it's growing really heavy. But what this has done in turning green this spring, we are on May maybe 18 right now. So you'll be seeing this in a week or so. We're definitely ahead of our game. The nice thing is we're nowhere near being out of hay. So we can just round bale this and let it set. We're not wrapping them or putting them in the barn or anything. They will get used pretty quickly. We'll actually skip to using some of these bales and use the wrap bales a little later in the season, ensuring that that stored hay that's wrapped can get used in the case of a drought. You can even take your square baler and rebale it if you are out of square bales to sell. So then you still have that farm income coming in, because if you get anywhere from, the prices here range so much on a round bale, from $35 to $60. And if it's not net wrapped, You can't hardly get $60 or $65 for it unless it is fresh and they can see that it hasn't sat out, sun bleached, lost any nutrients from age or anything, or sitting on the ground. So square bales is our choice for hay sales locally. So this south field is all done. He ended up getting 6 bales off of this, and I think he said this is average 5 to 6 acres. I don't know if that was including the cow pasture. I always get it goofed up. I have to refer back to my old videos to remember numbers because I don't keep that part together. If you saw one of our last videos, we've been getting the bikes out, and this is part of the reason why we bike so much around here, is that we're about 1 mile in one direction and 1 mile in another direction off of 2 roads, and our creek divides our farm. So we can go down the road on our bikes. He's out there, way out there, if you can see that, yellow baler. He is going to be cutting this one next. You see we got tall grass in this east field here. The grass is already getting heads on top of it, and this area here is quite tall. A lot of water seems to kind of run downhill to there, so it is lush and tall, way taller than the other field. For a first cutting, it's very tender. He clipped it late in the year just to keep it nice so that you have a better first cutting. The cows aren't too fussy, and that's why we keep cows. So between the east field and the far east field, our county had dug out the ditches, and we accepted all the overflow dirt. This is for filling in those sandy areas. We've been scattering it about, and it's just literally a lifetime supply for this farm. We're going through it slow. Used to go way to the back, now we're about halfway. I think he ended up with about 4 rows on each side. Looks like he's got 4 bales going the other direction. And then here. So this field is a lot more sandy, and it's not quite as tall. So I think he'll probably end up doing that other east section instead of this far east before he gets to here, so that he's got time to catch up, because it just sprung up on us. No one else is cutting hay around us. It's the mix of everything that we have planted. It's not just Timothy hay. He's got different grasses and alfalfa planted. So that alfalfa takes advantage. You can check back in previous videos about everything that we talked to about that. Let's go look at the round bales. So the first round bales he didn't even bother to tie them up. He just took them straight to the cow pen, just to kind of save on it. They're eating pretty hard right now, and they're all kind of finishing out any weight loss that they might have gotten over the winter from being pastured. This is beautiful green. Look at that. There's hardly any. Like, there's one brown little bit left from some stemmy stuff. This is not hard. It's not coarse. Occasionally you get a little bit like that, but that's not bad at all. And I don't know any horse that would say no to this, honestly. It's very nice hay. I mean, this is like second cutting quality. So that's the huge difference some manure fertilizer can make. I didn't realize that he wasn't dumping any down there. He was bringing up here to the front of the field, And basically he was collecting here and then dumping them off over there. So 2 big paths. I don't know how wide this is, but 4 rows maybe. And he is on a 5th partial bale down there. And then he got 6 out of that south field. And I'd say total, the other field's probably a little bit bigger, but this one's longer. He didn't go as wide. So it's just some beautiful bale. Take his partial, looks like it's probably a partial, back to the barn, drop it off for the cows, and then we'll come back and pick these up with the backhoe in just a little bit. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to get on with our evening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.